Hello, everyone, and welcome into Coach Craig Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for today, March 20th. As always, we'll be going over the injuries in play for tonight's slate. It is a 6-game main slate overall, going over my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel. But without further ado, if anyone does have any questions throughout this video, throughout this live stream, if you're watching live, throw them in the chat. If you're watching on replay, throw it down in the comments, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to know whether those questions are more FanDuel or DraftKings specific so I can best help you as quickly and efficiently as possible. If my voice does sound a little bit funny, fighting off, like a little bit of sore throat and everything else like that, a little nasally and everything too. So I do apologize for that at this point in time. Since it is Monday, haven't had a video since Friday, there will be no recap. So we're going to go straight into the injuries in play for tonight's slate. Once again, it is like 6-game main slate. We got 2 games kicking off right at 7 o'clock Eastern time. For the Chicago Bulls, we have Javonte Green and Alex Caruso, both listed as questionable. Javonte Green has been out for quite some time. I'm going to pull him up here too, just because I know he was sent on assignment to the G League, kind of a rehab assignment. Not anybody that we're really looking at for DFS purposes, but, still a rotational member for the Bulls team. If Alex Caruso doesn't play, going to have some interest in Kobe White. Assume that either Patrick Williams or Ayo Dosunmu will start in his place. Then for the 76ers, PJ Tucker's listed as questionable. He's missed the last couple games. Really haven't seen a major impact DFS wise. We have enough guys kind of filling that hole, whether it's Daniel House, Georges Niang, or Jalen McDaniels. Neither one of them, or none of them, really have amounted to anything. So not too interested if PJ Tucker plays. Obviously, he's PJ Tucker. For the Pacers, we have Tyrese Haliburton listed as out once again. Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, and Chris Duarte all listed as questionable. You just have to see who plays out of that group. I don't think it makes a major difference for this team overall, honestly, though. So that's one way we'll watch throughout the day. For the Charlotte Hornets side, Mark Williams, Cody Martin, both listed as out once again, so no changes there. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns out once again. Jalen Noel listed as doubtful. Then we have Austin Rivers, Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert, and Anthony Edwards all listed as questionable. The biggest ones there, obviously, going to be Rudy Gobert, who's been playing through his injury anyways. If he wasn't able to go and Naz Reid's able to go, Naz Reid would be pretty interesting. And then Anthony Edwards is obviously a big one. He's missed, I believe, 2 games, or he left early the 1 game and then missed the most recent game. So, excuse me. So if he's unable to go, we're going to see bump in usage for Mike Conley, Jaden McDaniels, maybe a little bit for Kyle Anderson as well, but somebody's got to score the ball on this team, and they don't really have a lot of shooters at this point in time as well. Then on the opposite side, the Knicks are all the way healthy. You can take some different shots on guys on this team. More of a GPP team than anything, but a good pace-up spot against the Timberwolves. Moving down to the Golden State Warriors, we have Andre Wiggins, Gary Payton II, Ty Jerome, Andre Iguodala all out once again. So no real changes there. Kevon Looney is listed as questionable. If he's unable to go, obviously Jonathan Kuminga, Michael Green would get a little bit of a bump as well. Then for the Houston side, they're all the way healthy at this point in time. Do have some interest in Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, and Sengun, especially on DraftKings today. And then for the Dallas Mavericks, Markieff Morris, Kyrie Irving, and Luka Doncic, all listed as questionable. Kyrie Irving obviously did play on Friday, so he's somebody I have some interest in. Probably more interest if Luka does not end up playing. Luka remains to be seen whether or not he'll play tonight, so that'll be a piece of news that we're watching throughout the day. And then for the Memphis side, we have Vince Williams, John Morant, Steven Adams, all listed as out. And then we have Jaren Jackson Jr. listed as questionable. He's dealing with a calf injury at this point in time. If he's unable to go, Santi Aldama, David Roddy could be pretty interesting paydown options. Then on the Kings side, then moving over to the Sacramento Kings, Trey Lyles questionable with the shoulder injury, and then Kevin Huerter questionable with the knee injury. If Huerter's unable to go, you can get to some Malik Monk, you can get to some Terrence Davis, maybe even Kessler Edwards if you really want to go all the way there, but don't think you have to do that on a 6-game slate personally. And then for the Utah Jazz, we have Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton out once again. And the Lauri Markkanen questionable. I believe he's dealing with a back injury. We've seen him miss times so far this year. I believe if he doesn't end up starting, we'll probably get Fontecchio getting the start, which make him a little bit interesting as a paydown option on DraftKings. But that's kind of what we have in terms of injuries, at least early on for today. As always, I'll be listing injury updates throughout the day down in the comments. So definitely be sure you're checking out on them throughout the day and as we get closer to the lock. But the main ones that we'll be watching today, Lauri Markkanen's going to be a big one. Kevin Huerter probably as well. Jaren Jackson is probably big. I do assume that he's going to miss today. Obviously, Luka and Kyrie together. Kevon Looney could open up a little bit of value, but not too worried about him. Anthony Edwards is a pretty big one on this slate for the Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert would be as well if he ends up missing, which I don't expect to happen. The Pacers news will monitor, but not a major one. And then Alex Caruso would be a little bit of a factor there since he did aggravate his foot and could open up some minutes for guys like Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, and Patrick Williams overall. But with that being said, we are going to get off of the injuries in play and move over to DraftKings and talk about my core picks over there for tonight's slate. So on the DraftKings side, I'm starting off at point guard with TJ McConnell. Yeah, he doesn't really start in these situations still, but still playing enough minutes, a good fantasy point per minute producer. $6,100, pretty reasonable price tag for him at this point in time. Pace up spot tonight against Charlotte. Have him currently projected for 31 to 32 points. We're looking for 30 to 31 out of him. At shooting guard, Jalen Green. Excuse me. At shooting guard, Jalen Green going against Golden State Warriors tonight is a pace-up spot. The Rockets have been playing their guys a ton. Jalen Green's taking a ton of shots. If they are going down once again tonight, he's going to look really good. You're looking for 34 points out, essentially what he's averaging so far in the season. Currently, I'm projected for about 35, but definitely does have some upside for more as well, especially if he's scoring the ball well once again tonight. Probably not a cash game play, but a pretty good play in GPPs overall tonight. Small forward, we're going to Jaden McDaniels for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's taking the biggest step up with no Anthony Edwards in terms of usage of shot and everything else like that. There is more opportunities for him once again tonight, especially if Anthony Edwards misses. Going against the Knicks, it's just a middle of the road matchup, but at at $5,000, we're looking for 25 points. I'm currently having projected for 28, but does definitely have some upside for more as well. Then at power forward, I ended up on Santi Aldama. I believe Jaren Jackson is not going to play tonight, but they could change throughout the day. So obviously these core picks can change throughout the day. I'll have my updated core out about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock as well. But Aldama is $3,700. If he gets the start, he's going to look pretty good. Safe to assume that he's going to get like 21 DraftKings points. We're looking for 18, 19 out of him. Pretty good pay down option at this point in time. And even if you throw him into your lineups early and we don't really have that injury news right away, could open up some potential ownership for him and where he's not like as highly owned as he would be as we get the news that Jaren Jackson's going to miss earlier on in the day. Then I move down to center with Mitchell Robinson. He's $4,500, which probably one of the cheapest price tags he's been all season. Looking for 22, 23 points down. Currently, I'm projected for 26 tonight. Definitely has a ton of upside for more if he's out there and he's playing the minutes and staying out of foul trouble once again. So one of the better value plays, at least early on tonight's slate overall. But with that being said, if you go with these five players, you have $23,900 remaining, just under $8,000 remaining per player. So you can pretty much pay up for any player that you want on tonight's slate. You could probably pay up for two guys, pay down for the last spot, and then kind of go from there. Definitely a lot of different ways that we can approach this slate. There could be some other potential value opening up throughout the day as well. But with that being said, going to get off DraftKings. We'll move over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there as well. And while we're doing that, I'm going to try to take a drink here real quick. So on the FanDuel side, at the point guard position, we have Tyus Jones. He's $6,600. His price tag's been dropping pretty steadily, honestly. Currently haven't projected for, or we're looking for 33 points out of him, excuse me. Currently haven't projected for 34, 35 tonight. It's a slower matchup tonight against Dallas, but, if Luke is not playing, maybe it's not as slow as it is on other games for this Mavericks team. Memphis is still a pretty good pace up spot in general, so these teams will kind of even out there a little bit. And then if we don't have Jaren Jackson tonight, Tyus Jones may get a couple extra shots, may get a little bit more usage too. It's got to kind of go to someone. Hopefully it's not Dylan Brooks jacking up a ton of shots because they're not going in a lot of the time. So Tyus Jones, guy that fills in and produces on a steady point per minute basis when there is no Ja Morant, which there hasn't been for quite some time now. He's a little bit cheaper than he's been in recent slates, and then just offers a little bit of upside as well, but just a very solid player. More of a cash game play probably at this point in time. At shooting guard, I ultimately went to Kyrie Irving at $9,700. Personally, I don't think Luka Doncic is playing tonight, but if that does change, Kyrie's probably going to change at that point in time. But you're looking for 48, 49 points out of him, excuse me. Currently, I'm projected for about 49.50 tonight. If Luka plays, obviously has a little bit downside there, but if he doesn't play, there's a ton of upside for Kyrie Irving once again tonight. Then at small forward, we have Jaden McDaniels once again. He is more expensive on the FanDuel side. Keep that in mind. But $5,700 looking for 28, 29 points. I'm still have him currently projected for 28 tonight. FanDuel, he might get a steal or a block that would give him a little bit of extra point boost as well. So do think he's a pretty solid option at this point in time. FanDuel pricing is a little bit tighter, obviously, but do like him quite a bit if Anthony Edwards is out once again tonight. And then moving down to power forward, we have PJ Washington tonight. He is obviously been struggling a little bit as of late, but still with the center options that they have, Nick Richards and Kai Jones should be able to get some extra rebounds. A good pace up spot against Indiana as well. $6,100. Looking for 30, 31 points. He's averaging 29 on the season. Currently, I'm projected for 30 to 31 tonight, so it does offer a decent amount of upside, especially if he's out there. He's rebounding the ball. He gets some steals. He gets some blocks and knocks down some of those threes that he likes to shoot. Going to be a pretty good option at that point in time, especially if this game ends up being pretty high scoring as well with the two higher paced teams. And then last but not least, we move down to Xavier Tillman at $5,500. Should have pretty solidified minutes tonight, especially if there is no Jaren Jackson, if Santi Aldama is playing some of the four as well. Be really interested in see how they shake this up, but would expect 30 plus minutes for him tonight. If there is no Jaren Jackson, some extra rebounding opportunities, maybe a little bit of extra usage to go around as well. Not really sure he's going to pick it up, but definitely just has a little bit higher upside than he would on a traditional slate. But at this point in time, $5,500, looking for 27, 28 points out. Currently, I'm projected for 28 to 29. Has a little bit upside for more as well. But with that being said, if you go with these five players I have listed here, $26,400, $6,600 per player. So you could probably pay up for someone else if you want to find some other values to go alongside that. Or if you want to take a little bit more balanced approach, that's definitely fine on tonight's 6-game slate as well. But with that being said, that's pretty much what I do have in terms of core picks for today for both DraftKings and FanDuel. If you guys have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. As I mentioned earlier, please note whether those questions are more FanDuel or DraftKings specific so I can best help you as quickly and efficiently as possible. I do see Dan up here in the comments. He's saying, let's go. Do appreciate you popping in here, Dan. And he said, FanDuel is poop. FanDuel pricing is generally poop. Not as bad today as it is on some other slates, but, I still like playing on FanDuel too, but the pricing some slates just a little bit too tight. But DraftKings does have some pretty good available options in terms of pricing today. Let's see. Dan said, you the man, coach. Definitely appreciate you coming in, Dan, and popping up in the chat once again. But as always, kind of getting through some stuff here. The injuries throughout the day, I'll be leaving down in the comments any updates that do become available, starting lineups tonight, as many as I can get to. And then that updated core about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock. Also, since I got to talk about just a little bit, we're not doing price picks on here, but I'll throw the banner up on the screen. Use this promo code over at price picks when you first sign up, get $100 or 100% first match deposit up to $100. Helps you out a little bit, helps me out a little bit as well. Do put some price picks out from time to time over on my Twitter at CoachCraigSports. So definitely be sure to check those out over there as well. But that's pretty much what I have in terms of this video, this core pick video for today, March 20th. I do apologize. My throat's been hurting a little bit, so voice is a little bit shot, a little bit brain dead at this point in time, but do appreciate everybody that did take the time out of their day to tune in. If this is the first time you're checking out my channel, this live stream, or this video in general, definitely be sure to consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, it's XFL DFS as well as NBA DFS, and then pretty soon we'll be having MLB DFS and USFL DFS as well. Be sure to check out the XFL DFS podcast, I believe, or the XFL DFS live streams, which will be tomorrow afternoon and then probably on Friday afternoon as well. Going over a recap of last week on the Tuesday one, as well as a first look at this week's slate. And then Friday, looking more at the slate in general, whether I play guys in GPP, cash, pay down options, stuff like that. But definitely do appreciate everybody that did take the time out of their day to tune in for this live stream, whether you're watching live or on replay. And with that being said, I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day.